Like everybody else, I have recently been seeing the rise in gambling and also in prediction markets, which are totally not gambling. They're this different other thing that doesn't need to be regulated as much. And there's just this overwhelming, icky feeling that overwhelms me when I think about these things and when I'm trying to analyze these things. And some of that comes from just the nature of gambling, that it can truly destroy people's lives, and the kind of danger that is being created by trying to lure young people into gambling, like is happening at the scale that is happening right now. But there's also this feeling that this is almost a canary in the coal mine, although I think we're way past the point of a canary in a coal mine, and it's like the smog overrunning the entire city. But that this is just another indicator of a weird disconnect and a degradation that we're seeing in society as a whole. And as I dug into, okay, but what specifically is it? Is it just that we're partaking in this vice that is gambling? Is it that people are taking advantage and being greedy, kind of taking advantage of young people in a vulnerable position? Is that what it is? And then I kind of realized that I think the main issue that I have with these things is the level of apathy that they demonstrate. That in order to be willing as a person to treat the changing of the Ukraine-Russian conflict and where the land borders are being drawn during this war as if it is the same as betting on horses, as it is if it is just a menial thing that you can put money on and not something that already has this insane profit and loss added to it, and to feel so removed from the people experiencing what's going on, and to have that kind of basic decency that even though, yes, what you're doing isn't harming anyone, isn't doing anything, just the decency not to disrespect something so important and honestly sacred in a way, because it is like a loss of human life. It is the changing of people's lifestyles. It is having respect for that. That takes a level of apathy. It makes you slightly more antisocial, or maybe it's just a symptom of being antisocial to partake in that. And when I say antisocial, I don't mean it in the like, you have social anxiety, you have whatever. I mean it more so in the more clinical sense, where it means that you're partaking in activities that go against a societal norm in a kind of more concerning way. It's kind of a, honestly, that's an antisocial activity. Being antisocial is people who are weirdly aggressive in public, are people who start to disconnect from things. Whether that means going as far as inflicting harm, or just kind of not partaking in society, not being willing to work, being kind of a NEET, different things like that are considered aspects, and they can kind of grow into things like school shootings, violence, those sorts of things. And I think the level of apathy that we see with these prediction markets is probably both a symptom and a cause of this growing antisocialness within our society. In general, there's already a trend that men tend to gamble more than women, and we're also seeing that men are increasingly getting disconnected from society and kind of going through these antisocial, dangerous pipelines. I'm not sure where that cycle meets each other. I'm not sure which is causing which. I'm not sure which is funneling into which, or if it's just one big bucket. But I think in unspoken danger of these prediction markets and how they are disconnecting people from the more social cost of what they're doing. Even things like, will someone throw a dildo on the women's basketball arena or court during any given game? That has social consequence. That has an effect on these women. It is further building into these patriarchal negative ideas. It is further making women feel inferior and taking away their power within different spaces. That is a real social loss. And instead, it is putting it into the minds of these people, and predominantly men, that instead it is just a money loss or gain, and kind of removing it from how it affects that societal glue and how it implements, how it speaks to who we are as people and as a society and what we value. And I think that in the coming years, we're going to see the typical negative effects of gambling on young men. We're going to see them become problem gamblers. We're going to see increases in both negative effects for them personally, as in their health, their safety, their sanity, their finances, their ability to get a leg up in life in an already very bad economic situation. We're also going to see gambling has links with domestic violence. Gambling has effects on anyone around those men as well. And I think unlike with previous forms of gambling, while we're going to have to watch out for this difference in accessibility, while we're going to have to watch out for all of the normal things with gambling, I think we're also going to see an effect from this apathy that prediction markets are promoting. Already, a lot of these right-wing pipelines were kind of disconnecting everything from the whole and making it about individual men and individual men's wins and losses, and that this is really just amplifying that. This war between Russia and Ukraine is no longer about people, is no longer about that conflict. It's now about your own personal wins and losses, your own money, your own bottom line. And that is a weird and dangerous way to be thinking about things. That is usually reserved for the CEO of Planeteer, and that's just one guy. And it's an issue, but it is not a widespread issue affecting men all across the nation, men who are developing into young adults under this new framework, under these new ideals. And it's very scary to wonder where that's going to go. Where already this growing apathy within our nation, I think, has been very dangerous, has led to a lot of both immediate danger for people and a lot of national changes that are very dangerous for people. And it's scary to think that this could only make it worse. I don't think I have much in the way of a thesis for this one. For y'all's reference, this is part one in kind of a connected series about prediction markets and gambling and the negative effects it'll have. This is kind of the most amorphous of all of those. I don't have an exact thesis statement or way for you to think about this. It's more so something I want people to think about and kind of like, hey, you help me come up with a thesis statement about this. But it is something that I noticed and I didn't notice a lot of other people talking about when talking about prediction markets and gambling, that I do think needs to be addressed. And maybe as I start to kind of look into apathy and nihilism and get some more information about it, it will develop into something more concrete. But I think it is an interesting connection that needs to be thought about beyond the more obvious and more concrete harms of gambling. So yeah, Happy New Year despite all of the chaos going on in the world. And yes, I am once again yapping about things on here because I have a weird need to research and create these statements, and I might as well see if anyone else wants to think about those things as well or learn from the research that I've curated. Have a happy new year, and remember that your own happiness and your own hope is its own form of resistance.